Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Stepping Through the Gateway. We have a smaller group tonight, but that's not going to stop us from having any fun. We are I'm going to real quick go over the stuff that we do on the Discord server so that you know how you can join us. The link below will bring you to our Discord server. We have games Monday through Friday. Monday we have a 40k type style game based off of 5th ed D&D, but it's its own wild ride. We don't record that one. Tuesday night we have our uh, Patreon supporters approved players game. If you want to join in on that one, you need to just the smallest equivalent on the Patreon will earn you a spot there. And they tend to make the game all about you. Just ask Serby. Um, Wednesday nights is this game. We have a wild ride of this story every week. We find a way to make it interesting one way or another. Thursday and Friday are our games in the main campaign world of Orland, and the two campaigns switch each month, which one happens on Thursday and which one happens on Friday. That is so that the two DMs have the ability to have the players that are available for their games. And then we have a couple of different things that are experimental on the forum side of our Discord, as well as a live play, just in case you're not able to get into any of the games. We can still find a way to make sure that you have fun with us. So please come tell a story with us. Tell several stories with us. With that, let's all remember where we left off last week. There was a separation of the group. One stayed behind in the lower section of the library where there is a prowling creature that seems to be blind but is definitely infected by this horrible thing that is happening around this world. Just above that floor, most of our researcher type of characters decided they were going to stick around and help with research and finding a new direction, seeing if anything could be sparked with a different perspective. And the rest of the group re-met up with Adraxon's grandfather, and they went to uh, another one of the wards that happened to be overwhelmed, but very freshly overwhelmed by the dead. And that's where we left off, with several of them dropping into, for a lack of a for a lack of a better term, dropping into the middle of the shit.
Call me a hell jumper.
And with that, let's fall through that darkness. Let's close our eyes, take a deep breath, and let that darkness take us. Descend through that curtain that separates reality from fantasy, and keep lowering into that dark. Deeper and deeper into this world that is, by every stretch, completely fucked. Down into the depths under a mountain where daylight can't reach, where are, we can freshly call them heroes, where our heroes are in the midst of getting into a situation. To refresh your memories directly before I hand it to you in the moments before, even though we did do the initiative roll already, you, let's see, Biren made his climb up onto the top, the roof of the third floor. Dodo was set up in the second floor window, and everybody, uh, Guy, Adraxin, and Adraxin's grandfather had all moved out onto and then were getting ready to drop into the street.
Uh, I know we rolled initiative stuff. Would there be some one thing that would I be allowed to do one thing in preparation for? It's not going to change my initiative roll, but in preparation before dropping down and starting the shit, or would I have to wait till my turn?
What would the action be that you're looking to do?
Uh, it's just as we're standing there, just hit activate a stim pack.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yep. I'm going to pop it at its base because I'm not going to go. Not sure if this is going to go farther than 10 minutes.
It usually
And
doesn't, but we never know. Oh, we
Hmm.
have a Jeb.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
what up, buddy?
I say I'm just
Jumping.
jumping in. I'm just jumping in while I'm driving home.
Okay.
Figured I'd listen in if you guys have already started, and if you haven't, just chat.
We did just start,
So I'll listen in.
and sounds good. And if we get through the combat section and we do the switch to the other portion where the other characters are, you can uh, jump in if you like.
May or may not. It just depends. I just picked up dinner for me and the fam, and then I've got to get a shower after a double header, so
That's fair.
might be a little late. So
I
late for
am
me to join is
actually
what I meant.
I am
So
doing that. I'm gonna go 2 charges, not just one. Okay, I'll take the
So,
fun.
with all of that in mind, let's drop into combat. Yai, you were first up.
I'm still standing at the windows. Guys going to and make sure. Trying to remember if it's still initiated. He's going to make sure that the radiant. Goodness, where'd it go? The above table. What's the one for the undead? The one that gives you bonus.
Radiant.
You're
Okay, radiant. Okay, I'll just make sure. He's gonna make sure his radiant is still on his axes, and he's actually going to throw both of them down into the crowd to see like what he can hit with their ability to be thrown and to come back like boomerangs.
Okay. I'm also double checking if you were given and are using that the nail.
Is that the stem pack or is that separate?
That's
That
separate.
is separate.
But we
What
did say
he
he had one. Last week we said he did have one. If
he's
it's on
got
his sheet or not, he does have it,
he
and
may
it
not
should
have been
be
able to.
added.
I think
I'll
that was one of the
find
things
it.
that just didn't get added yet.
What was that? I don't know.
The nail is a wondrous item. It's called the Needle of Sacrifice.
Needle. That's why. There you go. Excellent. So,
Excuse me.
Trying to remember, did we initiate those before we ended last time? We were talking about. I just can't remember if we all stuck
The
ourselves.
needles or your axes?
Yes. The needles.
The needles are always active.
Okay, just making sure.
I have added it to your sheet, and I have readjusted your hit
H-
points as it is required. So you are all ready. So you can do whatever damage type you prefer. They are going the undead are going to act as if they are vulnerable to it anyway. That is why most people decided to accept taking one of the needles.
Nope,
Uh,
nope, nope.
Well, I know fire causes the spores to spread, so Guy wouldn't be dumb enough to do that again.
Fair.
So he'll keep the radiant. Let's see. Oh, also, I activated the stem pack as well. I think I was muted when we were talking about that.
Okay.
That gives me 4 for 10 minutes, right?
4
Well-
strength, dex, and con.
Yep.
By the way, that bumps our initiative up by 2 points.
Well, if you're doing it after we rolled initiative, it wouldn't affect your initiative roll.
That's true.
That's why I said I would like to do that, but it's not going to affect my initiative roll.
Gotcha.
So, Guy, are you taking an attack?
Yes. I'm throwing both axes.
Okay.
In the manner or like the boomerang since they come back. And I'm just rolling. Where I put my dice. Let the computer decide my fate.
Ooh, that's not a very good idea.
I know.
But it worked.
Myself. Oh, look at that. 23.
23 hits.
Doing that almost got me knocked out of existence, just as an FYI. So, there's that.
Sorry, this computer running slower, so I'm switching computers. Crap, the dice take forever to roll. Okay, so that one's 11. Second one is 8. I think my kiddo was down here playing with the dice. I can't find what I need. Second one is
I mean, you do need to teach him.
we started our own little mini campaign on Sunday, so
Awesome.
$23 and 7. The second one actually, that's weird.
Hold on one sec. I'm making sure I have things set for something.
First was 23 and 11, and the second was 23 and 7.
Mm-hmm. So you do 1, 2, 36
Mm.
points of damage with the vulnerability.
Okay. What were your attack rolls one more time, just to make sure?
Both for 23 to hit, and the first one was 11 damage, the second one's 7.
So 1836.
36.
Okay. The axes go out one after the other, hitting into the chest of a desiccated uh, a desiccated corpse. Looks like it used to be some sort of looks like it used to be some sort of elf. Their body is just like sunken in on itself, almost just skeletal, except for the skin that is clutching to everything. Your blades crush into the shoulder and the ribs, and it it feels so unnatural for your axes to leave those spaces and not gouts of blood, but like a slight trickle happens. And it's not red like you're used to, it is thickly almost black.
As the axes
That
come back, he's just gonna stand and watch. Take a defensive post.
there is a sea of these things out there.
Mm-hmm.
As you noticed last week when you made your count, there had to be at least 150 out there. Biren,
Uh, from my vantage point, can I see how far into town they are? At least along this road.
you can see about a block out. Actually, wait, no. This is the district that has the light. Um, you can see that they are currently clustered in about a block in every direction from here. Most of them seem to be trying to get into either this building or a building across the road. down towards the other corner.
All right.
And actually, with your general, go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'm glad I have an advantage on that. That is a 23.
Um, you notice 2 blocks down. It looks like there is just a outside of the what you've come to believe is normal of these round buildings that make up blocks. In one of the street centers, there is just this green settle of sediment of something. There is a small crater, and there are just drag marks of green and red that come out from that heading in the direction of you guys. So you can catch that from here.
All right. Where they're trying to get into the building across the street and down a little bit, how far is that from me?
I would say it's about 40 feet down, about about 100 to 120 feet.
Okay, perfect. Uh, that's where the basilisk tail bolt is going. Well, nat one on my first roll, but on that I'm sorry, that was on the perception with advantage. But I did just roll nat 20. So, um, so I need a deck save.
I'm just doing one deck save for the entire group,
Yep.
and they do not make it.
All right. Give me a second. I didn't pull out that many D6s, and I should have.
Like, right now, the deck save isn't that bad. The fact that they're undead and have a -1 makes it not easy.
I mean, 17. Everybody takes 39 damage.
He says this like he's giving them a Christmas present.
Or like Oprah.
You get an arrow to the face. You get an arrow to the face. Everyone gets an arrow to the face. At least within that.
30-foot diameter
Yep.
circle.
Yep. I couldn't remember if it was 15 or 30.
15 radius, 30
Yeah.
diameter. That looks accurate. Okay.
Does that mean I'm in it?
No, this was down the street.
Oh,
Y'all,
okay.
y'all are
Sorry.
right below me. But I saw them trying to get into another building and figured, go ahead and take that group out.
Or at least make it more simple for whoever's there to take them out.
Yeah, that too.
You have started a veritable group pincushion that they do not fall, but they are not moving as not that they were moving very swiftly in the first place, but they are having to break through the arrows that are sticking out of them. Like they're not paying attention to the fact that it's there, so they have to do the extra movement of straining against a arrow to break the arrow to continue to move. Next would be Frodo. I'm just going to have him shoot a normal bullet.
Uh, hang on, man. You're jumping ahead of me. I still have other actions.
That is
Don't go.
fair. I'm just looking since I've still got him in the initiative.
Um, so, um, but they're still up by the door.
Yep.
Well, let's do it again, cause why not? Oh, that was supposed to be crit, so that should have been 99 damage. I didn't even think about that.
12, 24. Never mind. They all fell. A large group of them fell to just the physical damage of the arrow swarm.
So now I'm gonna turn the other way and try and make a hole in the group that's going toward our line.
Okay.
And that
Wait,
is
how are you making a second attack?
His crossbow,
my
his
bow.
missile has the speed thing that gives him an extra attack per action.
Brain. Yep. Good.
Um, and that is a 27.
That crits.
Oh, well, that's a lot of big numbers. Uh, that would be 105 damage.
Oh, and I should.
I'm sorry, 112. I do add my
They
dex
may
modifier.
have. They may have rolled a nat 20, but you still did more than twice their hit points on the crit. So let's see what we've got. I'm not doing this. It is too late, and I am. Another large swath of them falls. And then. Actually, Shoto's not going to shoot a regular bullet.
Bonus action, steady aim.
Fair.
Now on to Shoto.
Shoto is not going to do that. I am going to help Shoto out a little bit.
And I need to remove 2 Basilisk Tail bolts.
Interesting choice. I guess he is doing a normal. He takes aim, and you see him put a normal bullet through the skull of the one that guy had already attacked. It falls. Next up is a Draxon.
Okay. So we still have the group that's at the door at the building that we're at, right?
Yep.
He just looks back to Guy and Iro. See you all down there. And he pulls the hood up and takes a step off the balcony and drops on top of the nearest zombie. Break my landing. And I'm going to go into a full round of attacks on the crowd around me.
You should have just started stabbing them from the 2nd floor.
I have an idea.
Those words are never good coming out of your mouth.
I could hear the crunchy in my you landed.
I land on the body that Shoto just shot as I just swipe through. First attack with Wave's Edge. Oh, that is let me just make sure here. That is a 26 to hit.
That crits.
Okay. Oh, fuck nuggets. I need a calculator. Um,
Are fucked nuggets anything like tacos?
Most
plus
definitely not.
8 plus and let's see that 8 plus 8. Oh, it gets the extra. Okay, that's right. It gets the extra D10 to this. Is it his weapon of choice? And that is
We'll be right back for the damage after these messages.
sorry.
I designed the subclass. I know what's going on here.
Yeah. Not times. I need plus. Okay, so I need D10, D8, and where's my other D10? Oh, fuck. 10, 8, 5.
Thank you for that idea, though, Beats.
Jesus, fuck. Okay.
You're welcome.
That. So that's my. I have to make sure my. Okay, so that is max die roll plus 2 rolls for my triple crit. And I do believe the only other thing that I miss. No, triple crit. Times 2. Damn it, that's not what I hit. Times 2. Okay. Okay. Because of Gambit's Mantle, my triple crit, and the vulnerability, I deal 332 damage to everything in a 10-foot radius around me. Because I'm going to use the cleave option. So whatever goes in it, whatever goes. I'm looking to cut down as many as I can in one swing.
With a single swing of your blade, 7 all crash to the ground.
And as you see this, the blade isn't flaming or frosted like it usually is. It is glowing red hot, and it's just searing everything it goes through. It's not catching anything on fire, it's just searing it.
Like Carter having a wound.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, let's do that again. You said 7 of them dropped?
Yep.
Awesome. Do. I rolled I rolled an 11. So that is a 25 to hit.
You still crit.
Son of a bitch. Okay. These are standard zombies, aren't they? AC of like
These
8.
are they are not difficult to hit. They are freshly raised and still kind of crunchy,
So
but they do not have the HP of a regular zombie. No.
okay.
I mean, we know they have less than 52 health.
Yep.
That-
You do know that.
Okay. It's 5
But they
plus
also
5.
have better than normal zombie stats.
So that is 4.
And instead of that thing where unless they're crit or hit with radiant, they have the ability to get back up, possibly. They have the infection thing. So
Second strike comes through opposite direction. 296 damage.
six more drop.
Does he clip anybody else with that?
Well, technically 5 drop immediately, and there's one that you are just that like you're going to have to pull the blade out of.
Okay. Um, and then do believe I do have speed on this. So, next attack. These things are at advantage. So, oh, um, that's an at one.
Well, there's none in 5 feet of you, so they don't get an attack of opportunity.
You got lucky.
Yeah. That one doesn't hit.
No, but you get to roll on what D100.
Oh, I do. Oh shit! There's a bright side to everything, I guess. 65.
Neat.
So that was my 3 main actions. Do I do it?
Do you?
I don't think I need to do it for that purpose. I am going to just make sure that.
Action surges just to reactivate the stim pack.
Huh?
Don't. It's a
Okay.
bad idea.
No. And okay, so we are going to I think we're gonna take a defensive stance there.
Okay. Next up,
This should be interesting.
we're going to go with. So, your grandfather goes from just kind of leaning on his cane to swinging it out behind him, standing at his full height, and doing a graceful flip forward out the window and down onto the street, and bringing the hammer down onto one of these things in one smooth movement, and then swings it around him behind and waits for things to get close enough to him. One more goes down on his turn. Then it is the zombie's turn. They all move closer in masses. There's a new small portion of the wave goes towards that other door. The rest kind of seeing that there is life in the middle of them, closes in from all sides and starts trying to whittle away at the both of you. I am going to roll 8 attacks against you and 8 attacks against your grandfather, and then your grandfather's held action happens.
Okay.
We're going to go with yours first.
Okay.
You have a you have currently an AC of 32. That's not going to hit. No. 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 You're surrounded. They technically get advantage. Whatever. You get an attack of opportunity. Actually, it's advantage that one's not going to count for anything. So, one of them actually hits you and crits. So you take
Deflection arrow.
20. Roll for the amount of damage that comes off.
Oh.
Hmm.
I thought I had to roll to hit. Oh, okay. $11 off.
You take 9 points, and I need a con save from you.
I take 18 points.
Yep.
Because the mantle is up. And a con save, you say?
Yep.
I've got a plus
I
11 in
know.
that.
I know. Such a weak point for you.
Could be. As long as I keep away from those ones. 25.
You make it. You take the hit, and you see some of the as they pull their fist away. You see uh some of the infectious material just kind of lay at the top of your armor and slowly flake away. At the same time, your grandfather is surrounded, and he is twice as unlucky as you, as they hit him twice, but
Deflection.
thankfully it is just you only get, or actually you do have more than one reaction at this point, don't you?
4, I believe.
And I have a reaction as well.
Oh, I have 3.
Well, your your grandfather has taken 2 critical hits because not quite as high in armor class as you, but his armor class is high enough that they're going to have difficulty unless they crit. So 2 crits
Um,
landed on him. If you are using a reaction to help,
I
that's
am let me roll the dice really quick.
Mhm.
Um Oh, I couldn't have got better on that shit. Awesome. I'm using my reaction to use a just spend a hit dice and activate heartstrings. So all incoming damage to him is reduced um by half, and I rolled the hit die and he gets a +10 to all of his saves until the start of my next turn. Or no, till the start of their next turn. So he takes half damage on everything that hits him until the start of his next turn.
Okay.
And I rolled max on that, so he takes 17 off.
And that's one. Are you using a second one for the other hit against him?
Is Guy gonna get hit?
Yeah, I didn't drop down. He is still on the second
Oh, that's
floor.
right. That's right. So then, yeah, I will. I'll go ahead and use that. Um,
Yeah, those
and
fucking
that
arrows
was
do you have?
15. Plenty,
So
at least for now.
between the two of you, Gramps takes no damage, and because he takes no damage, no save is required. And because you don't have to take half, or because you're taking half of nothing, you also don't have to take the con save.
And
Huh?
that's why.
What do you mean take half of nothing?
Since you reduced it to half, and then he ended up making the half that he was going to take 0,
Mm-hmm.
you are taking half of 0.
I don't take damage from heartstrings. Heartstrings just makes me spend a hit die.
You're good. I'm thinking the other campaign.
Nope, you're good.
Um,
Yeah, I know what you're thinking about. You got Junker's Ring of Shared Suffering on.
he doesn't take that, and
Does his
then
does his held action
his
go off?
his held action goes off.
I'm excited
Um,
to see what it is.
Which one is it this time?
I don't know. Just so you know, I have not. If he's got a character sheet built for Iroh, I have not seen it.
so Iroh takes these couple of hits, and you see him breathe out very calmly, and then he whirls in place and continues to whirl as he moves slightly in a direction away from you and away from the building. And I just need to see what his base roll for attack is. Okay. So what you end up seeing is he effectively pirouettes and spins off 10 feet in a direction away from you. And the 8 surrounding him, then the 8 surrounding, or the 7 surrounding him the moment after, and then the 8 surrounding him the moment after, and then the 8 surrounding him the moment after, take such a brunt of the hit from his spinning motion until he land or stops in a low crouch with the hammer held high over his head with one arm. Uh, in one sweeping motion. None of them in the initial group, or the back 3 in the initial group and the front 3 in the final group, do not fall, but all of the others do because they were caught in the succession. He moved a total of 10 feet, but the affected bodies all got pushed 5 feet after they had taken damage. There are a bunch that have just dropped because of the amount of punishment they just took, and there are others that are looking like a stiff breeze could knock them over.
Okay.
That is his held action during their turn. Only so many zombies can move. Blah, blah, blah. Back to the top, we have Guy.
How close are the closest zombies to us now that are left?
There are a couple of dozen right in front of the doors that have been pushed up against them that are between you between you and the storefront and a Draxon, and then there's a small strip that is all downed, and then there's still the group at large.
Guy's gonna take a deep breath. He's going to take out the vial of growth potion and drink it. And as he's drinking it, he's going for the first time transform into his hybrid form and attempt like a Hulk smash on the group right below him from kind of like dropping it like a cannonball would have, and it was like a double axe handle come up.
For this particular action, please give me one single unarmed strike attack. Well, I mean, technically, predatory strike.
15
That hits.
and 6 damage. But with the modifier, doesn't that increase?
Since you are in hybrid form, your strike is 1d6 plus 5, then the plus 4 for being large size now.
And the fall damage.
I'm going to roll that. Hmm. So go ahead and give me all of that.
You what? Sorry.
Give me your damage of the 1d6 plus 5 plus 1d4. And did you activate your Crimson Right before?
Well, the Crimson Right said it works on the other ones. I wasn't sure if it would work on with Radiant or not.
You can add the other one and it will be its own damage type. Uh, you have
But with the needle, they still take the damage
Correct.
like I have, right? Okay. It is 17 total.
17 total. And I'm just trying to spot which damage type your Crimson Right was.
I think Radiant is a specific subclass or
It is.
specific order of that.
It didn't look like it was on that list for Radiant, which is why I didn't mention it. Or
Uh,
Radiant on that list for Crimson Right, sorry.
there is lightning, cold, and fire are the 3 types, and I don't recall which one you took.
Last time it was fire, but I stopped that because it was causing the spores to spread.
That is fair. You have fire, or you have cold and lightning. So
Let's
you
say
can
they're
choose
all
either
right.
one.
Let's go with lightning and see what some sparks can do.
Okay. Roll that extra d6.
3.
So you take a you don't just take a step, you take a leap and you crash down outside of the door on some of the ones that Adraxon's grandfather had just pushed back into that space, as well as several others. None of them survive your landing. 5 have been destroyed. You still have a you don't have a bonus action, but you do have a secondary attack that you can make.
If I wanted to try to do a lunging attack, um, would that be like an acrobatics as well, or is it just like a lunging attack?
It depends how you're trying to lunge. Are you just trying to get low and reach, or are you
Not
making a
like a
leap?
leap, but like yeah, like leaping forward to try to like tackle a few of them as I'm swiping at them.
That would be an athletics, actually.
I have advantage,
And
so
I will be surprised if you find a way to fail this. Considering you have such a good score and you have advantage.
24.
Yeah, you easily clear this. Go ahead and make your secondary attack.
Twenty-one to hit.
You hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
And
That would be that would be 1d6 plus 5 slashing plus 1d4, and then 1d6 for your lightning.
thirteen, 17 damage.
17.
Level 34.
Yep. leaping, we'll make it this. So you leap and you clear over some of the ones that are just in front of you, and you tackle not only the ones that are between Jackson and his grandfather, you take down an extra one as well, or you cleave into the extra one as well. 3 more drop, and you have one severely damaged.
He's going to take a defensive stance as he's coming to his feet between the ones that are left facing the door area and Iro.
Okay. Biren,
All right.
you are seeing less than half of what you saw at the beginning of your last turn.
And you said there was more going toward the door, correct?
Yeah, some of them have split off and continued going towards that. The rest are still heading towards your friends because live bait in the middle of the street.
How big of a group is going for the door?
I'm going to say about 30 or so at a glance.
All right, let's kill him. 27 to hit.
That would be a crit. I'm going to run off screen while you are doing math. Thank you for your patience. How much damage did you...
109.
Well, even at half, you wipe out the 30. It looks like the pin cushions that used to be the husks that were shambling in that direction, all of them seem to have stopped moving, while the rest are still heading towards your friends.
Uh, how far away are they from our group?
Your the combatants that are down in the street are about no more than 15 feet from each other. The crowd that has surrounded them in this mosh pit of undeath, there is in all directions. Go ahead and give me a perception and an intelligence check. Because this is split second counting.
Uh, A nat 20 perception. And 15 intelligence.
There are still well over 70 out here, and you're seeing that they are surrounding, in most cases, about 6 to 8 deep in most directions. So you figure if you go a small bit out from any one of your friends, you can probably maximize by hitting a bulk of the crowd.
All right, let's do it. $22,
22 hits.
which I'm guessing is not a crit.
No.
Well, that's a few big numbers. All right. $49 damage.
Nice. Dex save, right?
Yep.
I just did the deck save. They failed it. But um with the burst of 100 arrows into that space, they are crunching as the different bones have to move, and the muscles are so thin, and the the arrows make purchase. And most battlefields, you would have assumed that that would have eradicated the fallen. They still look like they are on last legs.
That's disappointing.
You just
Do
hear from down
you
below. Hell of a shot, kid.
did you want that to be in front of Pyro, in front of Guy, or in front of Adraxon?
I would have tried to kind of put it where it kind of hit in front of Guy and
Okay,
Adraxon, kind of in the middle, kind of help clear some from both of them.
fair enough. With
And
that,
well,
continue. I'm just making preparations of thoughts.
should I do it?
Do what?
Release the charge?
Oh, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Not yet.
All right.
Save that for an
So,
emergency situation.
well, I thought this was an emergency situation, but
It was until you basically cleared the entire street front.
um,
Listen, those bolts and arrows are wonderful. They are. You started this with 30 of each of them. Who knows how many you're going to have to use?
Wait, that's the wrong one. I'm keeping track of them because I know. Yeah, I'm down to 23 Basilisk tail bullets. So I will bonus action steady aim
Okay.
and keep it moving.
You hear a ringing shot of Frodo shooting, and the one that was not quite finished off by Guy goes down again.
You keep stealing my kills. We're gonna have to talk about this.
Adraxon.
Okay, so paint me a picture. What do I have around me and what's in front of me?
So, you are here, about 5 feet off. There is Guy that is now large sized and a werewolf. And then 5 feet beyond that is a space, and then your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the group in front of Guy and slightly closer to you are absolute pincushions, but there is still 6 to 7 deep of these desiccated corpses that are just like there's a bite, there's a heavy broken bruise. Their clothes are ripped and tattered, and they are just their skin stretched so tightly over the bone, you can see the creases and the texture of their skeleton. There is almost no musculature or fat underneath them. There's no water. And the one that hit you looks like, or before you dropped it, looked a little bit healthier than the rest that are around you. But you are still fairly surrounded, definitely outnumbered. But numbers seems to be one of their own only real
Okay.
things that they've got on your group.
So would there be a zombie? You said there's a space between me and Guy.
Mhm.
Is there a zombie in that space?
No.
Okay. So I am going to start my series of attacks with the one one of the ones that are up on me.
Okay.
Um two.
Starting the attack.
Yeah. That is a and actually we're gonna go ahead and make these great weapon strikes as well.
Okay.
So a plus the so if I take the 5 off of my bonus for Wave's Edge, that's 9 instead of 14. Uh with that is a 26 to hit.
Great.
Calculator. Okay, so it is a D10 for that, a D10 for that, a D8 for the flame, an 8 for his bonus, a 10 for his great weapon strike. And so what is this? This and this. So 8 plus 6 plus plus 3. That times 2. because the hood is still up. Um, so swinging towards the one and letting it carry through, 356 damage to those surrounding him.
Another 7 drop. One barely got scratched by the end of your swing.
Okay. And how many does that leave besides the one that I barely scratched in a direct base-to-base contact with me?
Direct 5-foot square, none.
Okay, and so but there would be some beyond that at the 10-foot mark that I can still reach?
Yep.
Okay. Um so my second strike, I'm going to go for the one that I barely nicked and make a slash outward, keeping with the great weapon strikes. That is -5. Okay, so wait a minute. 14 is 30 -5. So 25 to hit.
That is still a crit.
Okay. Gotta remember that 46 is my base with a great weapon strike. Um so, and 4. Um 340 damage into the crowd within a 10-foot radius around me, or a 10-foot area around me that I can reach.
That takes down. Because of that, that takes down another 7.
Um Does that leave more within a 10-foot radius, or do I need to move to get into a 10-foot radius with others?
That leaves very few. That leaves 5 within 10 feet. You could take a 5-foot shift and move them into 5 feet and then another wave of 10.
We're gonna do that. He's just gonna kind of, as he strikes down the next group, he steps up to the next line and go for number 3. um, that is not that great. That is a 15.
That hits.
Okay, so um, that is 10 from the great weapon strike plus my 8 for my modifier. And then 5 plus 5 plus 4. What's that? Times 2 for the gambit mantle, times 2 for the nail. That's another 128 points of damage.
2 more fall. One is still standing, but has your weapon lodged in its center.
I'm gonna action surge, kick the blade to shove it through the rest of the way, and make an additional 3 attacks.
Go for it.
Because fuck these guys. Oh god. That's a crit. That's 29 to hit with the -5.
Yep.
Um okay, so 46 is my base for this, plus I got the right one. I did.
The
8.
upsides and downsides to having a heavy damage character in a group like this.
Yeah. 6 plus
It's
7
wonderful,
plus 6.
but combat slows down.
I'm sorry.
It happens.
Times 10 times 2.
The point is, the group is still having fun.
So as he kicks the edge of Wave's edge through and carries it onto another strike, 332 points of damage.
That is a full 7 more died.
I get 2 more strikes. Are there any? Did I cleave everything that I contacted?
Yes.
Okay. So right now these things are not helpful. All right. So second of the other ones, that is only a 21 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. So that is 18 for my modifier and my great weapon strike. That is all damage. No, that's still 1. So +1 plus 5 plus 6 times 2 for the needle times 2 for the gambit mantle. It's 120 points of damage on the second hit.
2 more drop. One has your blade up under one of its arms.
My last strike, I'm going to go to take that arm and head off and move into strike to cleave through more of them. That I'm pretty sure that's a god 26.
26 crits.
Yeah. Um 6 points plus. That is a 1. So my thing, I can re-roll that. Say plus 3 plus 9 plus 7 plus 3 equals that times 2. That times 2 for the other. So for the last strike, it is 296 points of damage.
96. 5. 5 fall. And your blade is lodged coming down into the neck of one of the others.
Since I did manage to do that, actually, that's fantastic. I am going to activate Bloody. Well, it actually technically automatically activates because he's still standing. He is hit with Bloody, so when I critically hit a target, they begin to take damage each turn until they are healed any amount. This damage taken is necrotic and it equals the number of dice rolled in the critical hit. So I rolled 6 dice, so they would take 6 points.
Okay, I've got that set.
Okay. And then my bonus action, I am going to flare the cape out for anything that attacks me has disadvantage.
Sounds good. Next up is Ramps.
Say vamps or gramps?
Gramps.
Okay, I was like, where did the vampires get here? Technically, they're undead. That's fucked up. Oh, and I will, if it's allowed, I will take a defensive stance as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your grandfather is going to simply just take a succession of quick attacks with this ridiculous hammer.
I have a
As
question
he
because
comes from overhead, he grips it with the second hand and comes down and across another one. What's your
I'm
question?
just curious. What class did you give him?
Who said I gave him a class?
Oh, awesome. Bet you pulled out one of your
He
Paragon ones.
I did not. He
Damn it.
brings the hammer down on one of these Cretans' heads, and then in one sweep, he brings it into the rib cage of another, and then pulls it back and goes across the same space and into the third, where the back of the hammer is more of a pick shape, and kind of just lifts it and brings it back down into the ground. And that is his turn. Two of them are definitely not going to continue moving. The third is heavily injured. And then the rest of them get to move in. Each one of you is going to have 8 attacks. Wait, no, I'm wrong. The two medium size are going to have 8 attacks. The large one is going to have 12 attacks against them. Adraxon, you have 2 crits coming in towards you.
Okay, those were all rolled straight.
Okay, we're retracting that. Those 2 are going towards your grandfather.
Fuck.
Because I
Forgot
did
about the
not do
club.
the. Yep.
Okay.
None are coming towards you.
That's okay. Um, I'm going to do something.
Guy, you have 4 normal attacks coming your way, and a there's an attack of opportunity that you can take because one rolled 2 ones in a row. You can burn your reaction to take an attack of opportunity against them if you would like.
Yes, I would like.
Go ahead and roll your attack.
$28.
28 crits. And you actually cannot do
Oh, gotcha.
you cannot do less than its current remaining health. So that one's gone. The others. So I know there are 4 reactions that can be taken on this particular round. Who wants to do what for who?
You didn't give Guy his damage?
Not yet.
Okay. Um,
I've not told him his damage. I have not told you your grandfather's damage.
well, I don't have multiple reactions, so I can only take the one. And
Go for your grandfather.
okay, I'm going to taking the crits for him might kill me, so I'm going to actually do heartstrings again.
Okay.
So his damage will be reduced by half. And he only gains a +2 to his saves this round.
Well, rolling an 18 and a 19, he saves against the infection. But he still takes damage. Okay. And Guy. 4 attacks are incoming. Each one of them has 10 damage, 10 bludgeoning, so I believe you take half from that in your current form. And I need if damage still goes through, I will need a con save on the ones that still. How many are you doing your arrows on?
Uh, I'll do 2.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Let me know how much is reduced.
16 on the first one, and 14 on the second one.
So after your damage reduction, or after your damage resistance and the 2 that are negated afterward, you only take 2 of the attacks. So you are taking 10 damage total after your resistance. And I need 2 con saves, please.
$17 on the first one. And a 2 on the second.
As in your massive form, you feel plenty of them just bounce off of your form. 4 of them actually break through your flurry of fur, and 2 of them are intercepted by arrows from above, while 2 others slam into you, doing a small amount of damage, but bruising you enough that there is a abrasion, and there is enough of a remainder from what is seeping the fungus that is seeping out of their pores that makes it into your bloodstream. One of them you feel and shake off the other. You do not believe you have shaken it. And with that, we move to the top with Guy. You are currently surrounded by a bunch of heavily, actually, that is, yeah, you are surrounded by a bunch that are heavily pinned with arrows. You have a few that are not within direct reach, that are not pinned with arrows. Draxon has moved effectively up to 15 feet away from you, and Iroh has not taken a movement from where he's at. So you are, that is your current situation.
Is there any close enough that aren't pinned that I can grab?
You are currently surrounded by many of the ones that, because you had helped like push so many away and kill so many along with the others, the ones that had been pincushioned that were out in front of you are the ones that moved into the space around you. So currently, those are the ones in your reach.
I'm going to attempt to grab one of them by the leg and smash them into several of the others in a manner like the Hulk did Loki.
Okay. Give me an athletics. Give me a regular attack, then an athletics, and then another attack roll.
We've seen this happen before.
Regular hybrid or regular unarmed?
Hybrid.
Kill one motherfucker with another motherfucker.
24 to hit.
You crit on grabbing them. Give me that athletics.
Advantage. 15.
Excellent. That beats that. Now give me an attack roll using one motherfucker.
One motherfucker attack coming up.
Me and Tormy used to play with a guy that would do this frequently.
Yep.
I just figured since I was in a bigger state, I'd try to Hulk it out. So, would I do that as an
Fire.
unarmed, or how am I swinging? Like, how do I?
Yeah, use it as unarmed.
Okay. 24 to
Congratulations.
hit.
You crit. Um,
Beating one motherfucker with another motherfucker.
you are not going to be using just the d6 or just the 6 points of damage. Go ahead. Roll off of strength. You're going to have 1d8 bludgeoning plus 5 plus your d4 plus your d6 from. Actually, no, you don't get the d6 from the from your
Right.
Crimson Right. So it's just a d8, a d4, and then plus 5.
Ten total.
Well, congratulations. You successfully killed 11 of them. as you tantrum swing one of them around, hitting the others that are minorly combobbed and pin cushioned. You somehow smash them in ways that they stick together for a little bit until the mass gets too heavy, and then you are just beating the others with the bottom half of the one you grabbed.
New battle axe. We call him Stumpy.
We've got we can find an artificer for that.
Okay, that is. We are down to that many. Awesome.
And I'm still within
Yes.
distance. I'm gonna still try to like be protective of Iroh, so he's gonna take a defensive stance between whatever can between him and Iroh.
Technically, you have an unarmed, or you have a bonus action left, and
Right.
your high, or your strikes allow you to actually take a bonus action attack.
Is there enough
So
of
if
the
you would,
stump left to attempt to throw it and try to knock some down at least?
yeah,
At least
go
I do that.
ahead, make an unarmed attack for your throw, and then we're going to roll the d8 plus d4 plus 5 again.
26 to hit.
Crit again.
Crit.
You throw one
Oh,
stumpy and you leave
wait.
nothing but other stumpies.
You said you hit for 10, and I'm betting you did not, or you did not give me the.
Max.
Y- he didn't give me the needle number, so that is 21.
Well, if you've got a D8, a D4, and 5 on a crit, that would be 8, 13,
17 base.
18
17,
base. 18
18
base.
base.
Plus 10 damage, which he rolled. So I've been 28, and then double that to 56 for the needle.
Let me put that back up to. Hold that thought. I need to do some math crunching. $11. How many did you say?
He had
Or how much
56
was the
and
first?
56
56.
with his crit and his vulnerability, their vulnerability to him.
Well, I'll be damned. Uh, you have beaten so many of the pin-cushioned ones that all that's left from the entire group that is standing is the pair of legs in your hand. Then you throw them again, or you throw them, and how much damage did you roll?
Didn't you pause me? Sorry. So you said a D8, a D4 plus the
That's your
5.
5. Right.
Okay. 9 plus 5, 14.
14.
Plus 12 is 26 times 2.
That second thing's a crit too, though.
52. Yep.
Yep. You the legs split on impact, but it takes the head of the undead that you hit with it. Congratulations, you effectively wiped out everything that had a pin in it and several others that did not. The street is much less littered with moving bodies. There are 9 of them left. Biren, it's your turn.
Are they together?
No. There are 3 on each of your friends within about 5-10 feet of them. Well, there's 3 on Iroh that are within 5 feet of him. There are 3 on Adraxan within 10 feet of him, and there are 3 that look like they are closing on Guy from about 15 feet away because that's all that's left.
All right. All right. Which way to do this? Um, I gotta pull my arrows back up because
Because you're not used to having to use regular arrows on single targets.
yeah, that one. um, I am going for 2 of the ones. Well, let's do this. Let's go 1 in front of Draxon. With a 28 to hit.
Crits.
It now has a immovable rod in it. And then I'll go for 1 in front of Guy. I don't think a 3 is going to hit. 13.
You just barely miss. Your arrow doesn't hit anything significant. In fact, it goes right through a where usually there is meat between the shoulder and the neck. Your arrow goes right past that because that has sunken so far down, it is not there anymore.
So there's an immovable rod in the street now. It's a good thing I had a yeah. All right. Steady aim. That's all I
Okay.
can do.
Frodo is gonna shoot the one that is under the effects of the bleed, and its head disappears. Draxon, you have 2 on you. One is pinned in place by a immovable rod.
Okay. I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna go for the one that's not pinned, and see
Okay.
if I can get it to carry over to the one that is.
Okay.
These will not be great weapon strikes. Just because I'm
I
tired and I don't want to do
do
math.
want you to realize, I'm going to give you the heads up. A creature that cannot move is technically restrained. You would have advantage on the attack against it.
Oh, that's right. Okay, then I will do that then. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. My bad. That's still
Just be happy you have a helpful DM that
yeah,
will remind you of rulings.
27 on the one that's pinned.
Crit.
Okay, so this is
Can you do less than 100 on this attack?
Can I? No.
They both die.
Okay. I am going to uh when I look at Guy and Iroh through my visor, what does the HUD show me for their health?
Guy. His bar is about. Sorry. His bar is about 10% lower than it was.
Mm-hmm.
9% lower. Sorry.
It's no big deal. I got you.
Yeah. Iroh is 1% lower than his maximum.
It's a good thing I didn't trade places with him and take the crits instead. um okay. Then I am going to uh mm, would I be able to notice that Guy was afflicted?
You can certainly go ahead and do a medicine check if you want.
Oh fuck, I'll roll it anyway.
Actually, at
Mm,
this moment, because it is in the middle of battle, I would say at disadvantage, because this is a.
fair. No, I don't see it. I rolled an 8. So I seeing his health is much lower than Iroh's. Sorry about this guy, and I'm gonna run up and go for one of the 3 that are in front of him,
Okay.
that are the 15 feet out from him. And I'm looking to hit one, maybe carry it through. We'll see. Yeah, yeah, that's another crit. Rolled a 14 plus my 14 is a 28. Um, D10, D10, D8. So yes, and then so that's a 1. I can re-roll it. Perfect. Um, plus 9 plus, where did my other, oh, right there, it's a 3 plus plus 5 plus 4 times 2. 280 damage.
Your blade carries through 1, through 2, through all 3.
And how far is Iroh from me? At this point, if I went that 15 feet in front of Guy.
The closest zombie to him is approximately 15 feet away.
Okay. Are they all within 20 feet of me?
Right now, you would need to take another 10 feet of movement to get all 3 within 20 feet.
I'm going to do that because I should have 15 feet left after moving the 15 feet up. So I could close the distance on them, but I can move that extra 10 feet. And the last of my 3 attacks, I'm going to extend Wave's Edge.
Okay. And you know that means that it takes, or it gets advantage for that first roll.
Yep. That. Well, it's a good thing, too, because I rolled a 1 and an 11, which puts me at 25.
Right.
Oh, great. Okay.
Congratulations. You have reached the end of the combat. You get to learn that their AC is 14.
uh, fair enough. 26 plus.
They are like, as stage 3 of this, they are approximately 3 times what a normal zombie is.
Ah. Fair enough.
Listen, when a disease thing like this, it has a stage 2 of death instead of stage 4,
268.
yep, splat, splat, splat.
And as the last of them, he retracts the blade back, sticks it, holds it off to the side, and just looks to the 2 that were down in the fray with him. How you all feeling? Anybody get hit?
Guy's going to transform back to his usual self, kind of grab his bruised side and say he's feeling a little woozy.
Okay. Hearing that, I'm immediately going to pull out um did we bring Horby with us?
Yes, he is currently
Okay.
on the 2nd floor.
I'm gonna call Horby down. I'm gonna light it. I'm gonna make use of. We're gonna make use of the sensor, and set
It's
one of the.
still running. It's still
Is it
running one of the pages from earlier.
okay? Then I'm gonna have him just kind of hit all 3 of us that were down in the fray, and see
You
if
see
that.
a bunch of the the spores just fall off of you as the smoke envelops you. And Guy, you didn't because the adrenaline was rushing so heavily, you didn't really feel sluggish until you felt the smoke come over you, and you felt a weariness just pass you by.
He's gonna snap his fingers and Squawk's gonna hop down from the window above the ledge back onto his shoulder and kind of look at the battlefield, look at him like, what the Squawk just happened.
Would I have? Would is the sluggishness visible?
He went from being like like imagine somebody who is standardly a runner running on a day when they're sick, where they look like they need a glass of water after they've run just a regular mile, or and they look like they're starting to lose their breath at just a mile when they are professional and they run like 15 a day. That's what he looked like before he walked into the or before the smoke enveloped him.
Okay.
And then the breath started refilling him and he doesn't look as worn down as he just a moment ago did.
Kind of give a nod to Horby, look up at Biren, give him a thumbs up. How we looking up there?
Go ahead and give me a perception check if you want to.
Serby, are you muted, buddy? Maybe he stepped away. While we're waiting on that, I'll just kind of I'll look to I will pull the mantle down so it's not active at the moment.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to pull the mantle down. I'm actually going to take a potion.
Fair.
Because that does stuff with the mantle. So, the standard potions are 2d4 plus 2, right?
Yes.
So, for 7, I heal 14 points. Not quite full, but close enough.
We're going to swivel away from this and transfer ourselves back to the library where several of the more bookish characters happen to be working. So, Deshani,
Yo.
you, Ari, and Balon stayed on this floor. Lightfoot went down a floor, and everybody else went to one of the other uh, wards to help stay on the front. Here, you saw a small figure that is on a tall stool in front of a large alchemical set who has many different safety features, including heavy earmuffs that seem to block out sound. And the very tall person that, as several people have taken notice of, actually, go ahead and give me a perception check. Unless you happen to want to go interact with them directly, this is the.
One sec.
Mhm.
14.
Very tall, very slender figure. Red, not crimson, just like a darker, deeper red robe that's trimmed in gold. Looks a little worn. There is a bunch of papers in front of him that look familiar from the ones that Draxon had handed off for them to look at. There is the hood is up on the robe, and there is a large crow that is sitting on their, or a large raven on their shoulder. It has done his talking for him when Ari had talked to it. They The one hand that seems to be moving the papers is gloved, and they are taller than Ari. There are books strewn across several tables. There are books on different, or there are many bookshelves that are pretty much full, and the two setups that uh, these two individuals are dealing with. Ari is currently reading through several different books at the same time. I do not have an answer as to what Balon is doing, but I'd like to see what what Dashani is doing here to help figure out the situation.
I would have been first before doing anything else, going over and observing what the hyper focused, I don't want to listen to anyone figure is doing.
They have on a lower face mask that has large bulbs that come out that is filtering air. They have on a set of goggles and a welder's shield. They have a set of uh, head uh, noise canceling accoutrement. They have very thick gloves that have metal tips on each of the fingers and thumbs, and there's some alchemy going on over here. There's a little bit of machinery being tinkered with. There is something over here that just glows, and there's no real source for it. There is a there's somehow a pile of water or some sort of liquid that is just sitting in a very large round disc.
Okay. Then I would head over to the tall figure and ask if by any chance do you have notes on what progress you have made, what you found has worked, what you found has not worked.
There is a very there is something missing in the language here. It is a sucking rasp of a voice, and it does not come through as any of the languages you standardly know. As the figure turns, you notice that you don't even need to roll at this point, as his attention moves from the papers in front of him to you, and the jaw moves. Half of it still has skin, half of it is bare. There's just bone. There are pinpricks of red light where the eyes should be, and it's features are drawn very tightly against the bone. One of the hands is just glowing, while the other, you can see the glove is barely holding to something. It doesn't seem like flesh, it seems looser. It rasps at you, and the raven turns, and you are looking for notes on what we've accomplished already. Yes. The notes that we have so far of what has and has not worked is actually on the edge of his station. It's the gray book.
It'd be alright if I
It,
skim through and catch up.
by all means. Every bit of extra work will bring us closer, get us closer to the finish line.
Very well.
And as you turn away, he turns back to the pages that Adraxon had left for him to go over. And you head over. There is indeed a gray tome that is almost as wide closed as your frame. In fact, if you clutched it to your chest, it would take up most of your torso. As you creak it open, there is very fine writing that goes over days worth of work. And as you quickly thumb to see how far back it goes, it's about 2/3 of this book, and the book is about yay thick. You see anything that, after about a page, they list the fact that anything that does not work at all will be stricken. So all the strike marks that you see are things that just did not work. It's a single thin line that goes through it just so that they know. And if there is a complete success, there will be a check or a circle. You see, as you start going through this, very few circles. If you would like to learn more, go ahead and give me an investigation check. I'm going to say with advantage since you've got the material right there.
Yep. Well, difference between a 12 and a 14. So investigation. So that's 16.
Okay. A portion of it tells you there's 3 pages worth of it that just break down how this seems to progress. At the immediate stage of infection, the body starts to dehydrate. It slowly loses all of its water
You,
as the and go ahead.
you froze up for a minute. Oh,
What was
I
the
got
last thing that you heard?
infection, and that was all I got.
At the very beginning, at stage 1, as soon as the infection starts, the body starts to dehydrate. All of the water starts to leak out in one way or another until the creature dies of one thing or another. Could be organ failure, could be dehydration, could be an axe to the head. Whatever kills them, they immediately jump to stage 2, which is full on death. th- depending upon how resilient they were in life, they come back slower the more hardy they used to be. And it doesn't seem to have any uh, this disease, this whatever this is, doesn't seem to really care if you are humanoid, if you're just some type of the animal kingdom, if you are plant life, even other fungus do not have immunity here. Stage 3. The creature, the previous living, raises as what we are calling a husk. They are so desiccated that their muscles have completely withered to a point where they are just skin and bone, almost literally. And they march slowly, but generally in great number. And in a small radius of them, if they remain still, they begin to suck the water out of everything around them. As they go through these stages, they get to a point where they are no longer desiccated, and they jump to their fourth stage. But while in this stage, they can either excrete a spore or breathe out the spore, depending upon how potent they are, making it easier to infect others. Once they've hit stage 4, they are what we call the bloated. They continue to absorb as much hydration liquid of any sort as they possibly can until they reach a point of bursting. By this stage, they have stopped seeping any of the spores or breathing any of them out. They simply continue to try to absorb as much moisture as possible until they burst. When they burst, they are no longer a threat, but what is released is more of these spores spread out in a very large burst, becoming heavily airborne, getting stuck to every surface. These are the 4 stages. And the only things that we have found that are capable of fighting against this infection are incredibly potent uh, restoration spells of greater quality or better. And a particular wood that comes from a tree that is grown down here under the mountain. The fact that it is not the fact that the tree has not been touched by sunlight ever is an oddity, but it seems to be a relic of some sort of divine power. These trees are blessed to be able to grow so deep underground. Their wood seems to carry a similar effect to greater restoration, only when burned. There are 2 wards that have groves of these trees. They are being chopped down so that everyone down here can survive. So that nothing can come in through the main entrances. You've taken note that they have tried simply taking the limbs off of the infected, those that have died. It does not stop them. They will use their chin to crawl after the living into a water supply to just drain the liquid if they can. They seem to be 12, 13 times more potent than the average commoner, even when they used to be a commoner. They fear what that could mean for those that are so hardy that they have an adventuring spirit, or raid for a living, or hunt. They are terrified of what that could mean for the creatures above. They do not know what that means for the plant life above. There is a note specifically. It looks like a very old hand that writes, necromancy does not work.
Do I see any notes of whether or not there's any intelligence in any of the creatures they've discovered so far?
There's a page that discusses different levels of intelligence, and much of it is stricken out. But the lines that are not are, they seem to be attracted to life and they seem to be attracted to water. They do not attack each other, but they do not fear pushing each other out of the way to get to a source of life or water. There have been several that have been tricked by oil or other liquids, but it is short-lived. They do not seem to have much more than an instinct to absorb liquid and life.
I'm gonna look over some of the things they found that have worked, that they've had success with, and see if there's anything that could possibly overlap.
And those that have a deep connection to faith seem to be fairly effective. They mention that if they had more mages around, maybe they could find more to study that way, but since one of the reckonings, there have been so few that only the holy artifacts and the those that pray so heavily that blessings can be granted miracles can be called down, seem to be able to do a great amount. Fire is a terrible idea. It spreads under fire. It multiplies under fire. But light, radiant light, seems to burn it as fire burns wood. Another several pages discuss on a microscopic scale what this actually seems to be. There is a strange array of qualities. It is simultaneously metallic, fungal, and viral. It
sh- Turn to the tall
in
man. Do you have any artificers working in your lab?
just simply points at the short one at the middle of the desk that you're next to. The one that has all the safety gear on.
She'll go over and from a distance kind of lean and tap.
The figure freezes very still, slowly puts down what he's working on, and puts it to the side. This takes about 30 seconds, and then he turns to you, flips the visor up, pulls the headphone or the safety gear away, and it's
I've got an idea. I'd like to run it past you. I'm not sure if it's something that you'll be able to create, but it's a two-part thing. And she's going to reach into the bag and pull out one of these files that store spells and show it to him. This doodad allows us to cast into it and store a spell that can be volleyed out via arrow.
hmm, interesting.
Enough of those that carry radiant light cast into an area that it will then illuminate can quickly clear the spores in a large area. You get enough of those, you can clear an extremely large area. Do you think you can create those?
It could take time.
My second thought, the radiant light that we are using is just a light. Could we create some kind of a magnifier that would
It
allow a beam of radiant light to enlarge and spread?
it's less about the light against the dark. It's more about the faith in the light. um, like a um, like the difference between a and he just pulls up he pulls up what looks like effectively an ice cube that's just not melting, and he wiggles it a little bit and it just starts casting light, like the light spell. This does almost nothing. Throws it onto the desk. But, and then he pulls out a small vial that is glowing a golden light. This will actually harm them. Uh, it is. Don't have enough on hand to just demonstrate. Um, have you ever come across somebody who can perform the miracle of just creating a divine flame?
She lets one loose in her hand. Not like throwing it, just like in her hand.
Just like that. So the radiance of divinity is what burns the. I've yet to find a way to classify this correctly, since it is a trifecta of it just shouldn't work. I have never come across anything that is fungal, viral, and mineral. That anyway, the only thing that seems to effectively counteract all three at once seems to be divine energy, radiant energy. So it's less about the light, it's more about the faith. And yeah, we have plenty of people that claim to be faithful, but if you really harness it, and he puts down the vial.
She's gonna pick up the vial. She's gonna kind of hold it, and it's going to start glowing as she's kind of running her hand over it and filling it with a sickening radiance. Hands it back to him. Well, puts a stopper on it, hands it back to him. This, shot through an arrow,
Hmm.
will spread that radiant energy in a 30-foot radius.
That'll help speed up cleaning out any of the infected wards.
Multiple of those shot out can quickly clear it, but it will take time not only for you to create that, but to fill them. I can only give you 2 of those a day. The flame I showed you has a much shorter space. So shooting one of those isn't going to clear much of an area. I can give you plenty of those, but we're going to waste vials if I can't magnify the area it spreads to.
Does give me a great deal to work with. I wish I still had my lab. We
Where is your bed?
can on the surface.
That's not going to help.
No. Besides, when I was rescued, I kind of blew it up because there were way too many of the dead trying to get in.
That's definitely not going to help.
No. The only thing that would probably still be there is the vault. But
What's in the vault?
a bunch of projects that I never finished. Panic room, couple of stealth automated suits of armor that I was working on. And
Let's hope we can clear this mess so you can get back to it.
oh, I doubt we're going to get back to it before anybody who made it into the panic room will run out of food and air.
Just
I'm
blanks.
hoping I'm wrong, but I had an assistant staff. They made it down there before the first ones started breaking through, and before the rescue force forced me not to go into my own shelter.
What would you need from us to be able to create something that could potentially make a difference with what I've shown you?
With what you've just shown me, I don't have a production line, so as you said, it would take more time than I was expecting to do it. We could probably make enough to clear an entire ward. With magnification and materials that I might be able to find. Every 4 days we could do one. If I have the materials.
Well,
There's almost 200 wards down here. And that's not even the surface. That's a stopgap. It's a door jam.
hmm.
It's a step in the right direction, don't get me wrong, but it's
Are there other mages?
looks at the tall one.
As
There
over
aren't
here.
there's a couple priests that are still in 50. There's a few holy warriors that are up on some of the front lines. Some that are up at the entrances. It's few and far between. Most of the most of the casters tried to hold up in their towers or in their labs like me.
How many of these globes do you think you would need to clear this ward?
49 is stable. That's why we have those. That's why we have those torches at the very entrance, so that none of the infection can make it in fast enough that our forces wouldn't be able to take down everything but a full horde of them. So this particular ward, we don't really have to worry about unless that thing breaks out, which, unless somebody is spectacularly stupid, not gonna happen. It can't jump that high.
Lightfoot's down there. That's a problem for tomorrow. Um, what about the next ward that needs clearing? How many orbs do you think we would need?
External, so outside all of the buildings, probably about, if we had good archers that could maximize the spacing, or runners that could activate the arrows and run around, a minimum of 50.
Hmm.
As is, if we have magnifiers, maybe as low as 20. But then you have to get them into every building and get them to get every nook and cranny as well. It's possible, but most of the wards also have a high ceiling outside. Depends how high the spores have risen after the bloaters happen.
Most I can help with is the 30 I have. We
Let's
definitely need the magnifiers.
keep that in mind while we're working on a couple of other possible leads that we started on. Um, I've all but given up on that, as he points at the pile of liquid. If I could move it, that has promise, pointing at the ambient light. That, as he points at the bubbling apparatus, that at least shows promise in keeping our troops at the front lines up unaffected. And, well, as he slowly brings the mechanical thing next to what he was just working on, it's a pair of gauntlets that look like they have wires running across the outside and a large circular gem at the back of the hand and little uh tiny like pins or needles off of the tips of each of the digits. There's these. These were to see if we could get someone to catch some of the different stages and get samples so that we could find possible ways of slowing it down or stopping it from before stage 2. That's not going to get rid of all of our groves. And, well, looks at the weird apparatus that he was just working on that is now smoking. You see him put a very heavy cloth over it and just kind of weigh down the sides. And I'm not sure that's not going to explode. So I've got a couple of irons in the fire. It's just finding which ones need to be stopped before they go too far and finding which ones might actually help us.
Has holy oil done anything?
Sorry, one more time.
Has holy oil done anything?
It attracts them. It has, just like any other liquid, they get attracted to it. It's just, it kind of acts similar to what a poison would to most other creatures. It, it doesn't break them down, it doesn't slow them, just makes them less effective. But a few less effective infected versus, or in a horde is not, it, it doesn't do a lot. Not when we're spread so thin. And production is, again, a problem.
Right. And if you were to bless water, what would it do?
You mean just holy water?
Hmm.
I mean, probably damage them a little bit, and they'd be attracted to it. Any liquid. Honestly, they just, and like the
What?
one downstairs, sometimes they've lost all of their other senses, so they just tune in on one. The one downstairs just only has hearing anymore.
So if you had a decent pool of holy water, I wonder if the holy water would slow down progression into stage 2.
Haven't tried it yet. As soon as we found out that that the smoke from the trees would work, it's a temporary answer to a long-term problem.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any druids down here?
We have one in each grove. That's it. They're trying to maintain a balance between the logging and giving more of them life.
I'm wondering if attracting them to a pool of holy water and then shooting an arrow with one of those spell orbs.
Maybe.
You just need someone to bless the holy water. Or any pool of water to make it holy water, is what I mean.
One of the larger problems specifically with that, if it is not artificially, or not an artificially made pool of water, if it's natural, then we're affecting the groundwater. Like, even if we are getting rid of whatever disease this is, or virus, whatever this is, there's still then going to be dead bodies in groundwater.
We have to get rid of the bodies.
Are great. Part of the problem is the easiest way to get rid of bodies, the two easiest ways are bury them or burn them. And bury them could still affect groundwater, and burn them spreads. So
Well, it wouldn't spread if you've already neutralized them.
you might have a point there.
So if you've actually neutralized them with the sacred flames, then you should be fine to burn the actual bodies with normal flame.
And if we made it just if we shipped the bodies so that they all just had to be burned in one place,
Mm-hmm.
so that no further infection,
Mm-hmm.
it could work. That's one possible answer.
If we shoot in a vial of sacred energy, neutralize the pile, and then shoot another arrow with regular flame.
Getting somebody high enough that could bless that much has to deal with the priests in 50.
Over the table, you are giving me mad ideas right now. First of all, you shoot a vial of holy water at one of them. That attracts the ones around it to it. Then you shoot in the vial with the say the flame, sacred flame, whatever it is, and then you
30.
drop the radiant or the sickening radiance on top of them.
You wouldn't even have to do the sacred flame if you get them attracted to the holy water and get a big pile of them on each other. Then you drop the vial of the sickening radiance. That's 30. That's a 30-foot sphere.
30-foot diameter or 30-foot radius?
It's a sphere of 30 feet. So
Okay.
literally a big ball of energy.
Sorry about that pause. Depending on how
It's a 30-foot radius sphere, meaning it's 60-foot diameter.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We ran that wrong in that first battle.
The only problem is I only get 2 of those a day.
Well, you can create 2 orbs a day when you're not fighting with us, like the days that you're not with us, that you're working in there,
For other casters, because
or
2,
fine.
you
Yeah.
know, 2 or more from each, depending on the caster.
so if since I'm currently well, I was going to say 6 projects, but if since I'm currently on 4 projects, if you want to help me with that one, we can go back up to 5. Hmm?
Oh,
If you would like to help me with that one, we can
sorry,
make
my headphone went out and I could see you. I couldn't hear you.
ah,
Try again.
so he was saying, so since I'm working on four projects now, maybe you could help me with that particular idea, and we can put me back at 5 irons in the fire. If you want to, since that may not take very much time from you, is there anything that you want to work on that I can clear a station for?
As much as I can help you with what you have here and find some kind of solution, I can easily cast, as I said, 2 a day on these, and I've got 30 of these orbs, but we'll need more than that. So if you can give me guidance on creating either recreating these orbs or working on some type of a magnifier, I'll spend my day on that. She kind of like tilts her head, and I don't sleep.
He thinks for a minute, then stops and goes, "What do you mean you don't sleep?
She just
Like,
shrugs.
other than him, I've never met anybody else that doesn't sleep."
She points at her wings. Blame it on my mom.
Oh. Okay. Here's how this one's going to work. Um, I'm going to do something kind of similar to the progression system that I do for your extra abilities. I am going to have you roll a religion and an arcana check. When
Mhm.
when those numbers end up crossing a line, you'll get a breakthrough.
Okay.
We're going to start with this particular scene, and he is with the RP that we've just done, and with him starting to guide you in a way of being able to work with some of the stuff at his table without like affecting some of the other things. Uh, Go ahead and roll that Arcana and Religion, and then we will start from there.
Okay, so Arcana is a 15. Yeah, +5. And then the religion is a 23.
What was the first one? The Arcana? Sorry.
1 5.
Thank you. That is a step in the correct direction. With that, with the fight over and you beginning to be integrated into solving the overall problem, we're going to take a step back. We're going to, since it is closing on one, we're going to take that deep breath, swirl up into the dark, past that barricade of darkness between fantasy and reality. And we're going to open our eyes again and bring us, unfortunately, back to real life. With that, I would like to thank all of my players for joining me, for having fun, I hope, for all of our audience at home watching it whenever this ends up being posted. And I would like to remind all of those who are watching, you can always join this Discord and join any one of these games or join the live play forum based RP we will help you join as long as you have the time and want to join and are able to ask us how to. We will make the effort. Somebody will talk to you and help. And with that, thank you one last time. Who's up for telling a story? Night, everyone.
Night.
Right.